The current international landscape is marked by growing geopolitical polarization, with the United States and Europe aligning on one front, while China and Russia deepen their strategic partnership. This development raises questions about whether it signifies a return to the bipolar rivalry of the Cold War, or the emergence of a more fluid, multipolar system of global order. In this video, we will examine the differences between these two scenarios, analyze their implications for middle powers, and explore the countervailing dynamics emerging from bloc competition in Africa and the renewed U.S. inclination toward the Monroe Doctrine.
The bipolar rivalry of the Cold War was defined by the confrontation between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, and the formation of two opposing blocs. Today, although there is growing polarization between the U.S., Europe and China, Russia, significant differences make a full return to such a model unlikely. Unlike during the Cold War, today's global economy is defined by deep economic interdependence. China is the largest trading partner for many nations, including those of the European Union, while Russia plays a crucial role in the global energy market. This interdependence limits the potential for a complete decoupling or an all-out confrontation. The international stage today is far more multipolar than it was during the Cold War. Multiple powers, such as India, Brazil, South Africa, and other emerging economies, now wield significant influence and are asserting their roles in global governance. Today's international relations are far more multidimensional, with countries maintaining cooperative ties with more than one major power. This makes the formation of rigid blocs much more difficult.
There are, however, countervailing trends, notably the competition of blocs in Africa and the U.S. return to the Monroe Doctrine. Africa has become a battleground of influence among major powers, with China and Russia developing significant economic and military ties across the continent, while the U.S. and Europe seek to strengthen their presence there. This competition does not necessarily follow the rigid bloc structure of the Cold War, but instead creates a more fluid and multidimensional environment, one in which African nations have greater room to negotiate and choose their partners based on their own interests. The United States has begun to reconsider, and in some cases, to reapply, the Monroe Doctrine, which advocates limiting external influence in Latin America, particularly from China and Russia. However, this trend does not signify a full return to bipolar rivalry. Rather, it reflects a more regional and strategic approach by the U.S., one that could have significant implications for the global balance of power.
Despite the growing polarization and countervailing trends, a more fluid and multipolar system of international order appears to be taking shape. In this system, countries seek to address global challenges through cooperation and dialogue rather than through the formation of rigid blocs. Examples include collaboration within the framework of the United Nations, the G20, and other multilateral organizations. Strategic alliances today are more fluid, formed around specific issues and interests rather than fixed ideological or geopolitical lines. Emerging and middle powers are playing an increasingly significant role in global governance, asserting greater voice and influence in shaping international affairs.
The growing polarization and the emergence of a more fluid, multipolar system have significant implications for middle powers, which can leverage the fractures and divergences among major powers to expand their influence in global governance. The growing polarization and countervailing trends can pose challenges for the foreign policies of middle powers, as they must navigate their relationships with major powers while avoiding entanglement in large-scale geopolitical confrontations. Middle powers seek to balance their relations with major powers, striving to maintain good ties with all sides and avoid excessive dependence on any single power.
The current geopolitical polarization, despite countervailing trends such as bloc competition in Africa and the revival of the Monroe Doctrine, does not mark a definitive return to the bloc rivalry of the Cold War. Instead, a more fluid and multipolar international order is emerging. Within the system, middle powers have the opportunity to expand their influence, but also face challenges in navigating their foreign policies. The establishment of a stable, cooperative, and multipolar global system will be crucial for ensuring peace and development in the 21st century. If you seek reliable and well-documented geopolitical analysis, free from filters and propaganda, visit geopolitics-news-gr. Subscribe to receive the most critical news and strategic insights directly in your inbox. Support our effort to continue producing independent, free, and high-quality reporting. Together, we decode the chaos and see beyond the lines of events.